Welcome back to another special edition of Rock Forever. We've got a very special guest. He's got so much music inside of him. You know him as the guitarist, songwriter extraordinaire, not only with Bon Jovi, but the Drills. The Drills. Please welcome Phil X.
What's up, Jay?
Let's do it. So, Phil, I understand, man. You're up on like 4 Drills albums now. I mean, we can't keep up. We got a new lyric video. I Love You on Her Lips, but
Yes.
this is coming from, of course, Stupid Good Lookings Volume 2. Volume 1 came out last year. We go all the way back to Kick Your Ass in 17 Minutes. We bring the rock and roll. We play instruments and shit. And tell me, the Drills. I see these amazing covers that you do online. Tell me your passion for the Drills. What are you able to do through your buddies here in really releasing that rock and roll fever you got?
First of all, I'm going to correct you. I Love You on Her Lips is a standalone single, so it's not even on the Volume 2 coming out.
Oh, okay. It's
So
all itself.
it's all by itself, and we're getting really good reviews on the song, and I have an app, and I do a live chat twice a week with my app family. Great opening song. So when we return to some kind of normalcy when it comes to gigs, the Drills are gonna have to try opening up with that one.
Yeah, no, it's a monster song. We love it. Talk about the idea behind it, because it's very clever. You know,
Oh,
the
thank you.
phrase "I love you," but it's on her lips. Talk about writing this one.
Well, everybody, someone who says one thing and feels another. So not only do I like writing stuff that people can relate to, I like it to be interpretive. So it's very tongue-in-cheeky. The Drills have always been deep in the cheek. So it's like, does that sound weird? It's I love this is why I love writing interpretive lyrics, where you have to read between the lines to see what the author is really means. Because when people come up to me and they go, hey, what did you mean by that lyric? And I'm like, well, what do you think I meant by that lyric? And they tell me there's been, on occasion, what people think is better than what I meant. So I learn from that.
Yeah, keep them wondering. You're sparking something in their mind, and it might not even be what you thought, but let them have fun with it.
I think that's really important. I love connecting with fans on many levels, not just like you're the audience and I'm the entertainer, but when you talk with these people, I think that's what makes the internet great. I think what makes the internet great is the thing that also makes it shitty. But what makes it great is being able to, if it's not uncommon for someone to post something on Twitter and have the artist they're talking about chime in. Like, if that would have been something happening when I was 14, the first time I saw Van Halen, and Eddie chimed in to a comment I made about Van Halen, I would lose my mind. I would totally freak out. So that's what makes the internet incredible. The other thing is that makes it not so incredible is when, people dog an artist, something that they wouldn't say to their face. They had the courage to write on a keyboard and post. And I don't agree with that. I think that's very cowardice. But anyways, let's not talk about that shit. Let's talk about good stuff.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. So now, how did you decide that this was going to be a standalone single as opposed to being a part of a package?
Well, the Stupid Good Lookings project has gone through many changes. In the beginning, it was going to be 14 songs with 14 different drummers. And there is 14 different drummers. But what happened was we started recording in 2000, I want to say the end of 14 or early 2015. And we just started, me and Dan, and we had a list of 14 drummers coming in, and we would just be a band with whoever sat behind the kit for an hour and a half while we arranged the song as a band. And then we would lay it down like at least 3 times so I could go home and, oh, this was great and this was great, and I could comp an amazing performance. Because it's kind of tricky not having pre-production and playing guitar at the same time, because wearing the producer hat puts you in a situation where it's hard to be objective. You just want everybody to make it to the finish line. And then when you get home, you're like, man, I should have done that. Or man, we should have tried that. But if you do it at least 3 times and do something different every time, then you got what you want when you get back, hopefully. So what happened was we got a lot of the drummers recorded, but you know, the way the fanship works is everybody loves content, but not everybody wants all that content at once. So we really long time to get 14 songs mixed, because we're working with Chris Lord-Alge, who is a busy guy, but he mixed 6 songs, and then we were like, you know, let's just put these out as volume 1, and then we'll do volume 2. And what ended up happening was sometimes there was a situation where we had some time and we recorded 2 songs with one drummer, or in Brent Fitz's case, we were in Capitol Records recording 3 new songs with Chris Lord-Alge for his How to Record a Live Band Off the Floor at Capitol Records. And he asked the Drills to come in with 3 new songs. And so we obliged, which why wouldn't anybody do that? So basically, volume 2 is going to be another 6 songs by another 6 drummers, but it's turning into 10 songs with some repeat drummers, which is, see, plans change. I mean, a pandemic makes life a plan B. So, you know, this is one of those things that files under a new plan.
Yeah, I mean, it's an ambitious thing to have a different drummer on every song, especially with the caliber that you're dealing with here. But luckily you're in Nashville now, where there's a lot of drummers, you know. But
I mean, everything's recorded, Jay. Everything's done.
oh yeah.
We just you know, it's hard to get it slowed us down. What slowed us down was the Bon Jovi thing, because it was 2015 when we started recording. It was 2006 that I became an official member, and then bang, you're on John Bon Jovi's speed dial, and everything else is kind of on the back burner. And we put out This House Is Not For Sale and toured a lot. So anytime I got home, I also became a dad twice, with my son in 2013 and then my daughter in 2016. So when you're not on the road with Bon Jovi, you want to be dad and make up for lost time, even though they come on the road with us sometimes. But you know, it's being a dad is one of the greatest things that is actually the greatest thing that ever happened to me. So I don't want to miss anything that I would miss. For me, that's the silver lining. I know a lot of artists say that, but that's the silver lining of all the tours being canceled, just being home with the kids and my girl, and just being a family. So,
well, as things open up, hopefully you don't get too used to seeing you around every day, because I know you're itching to get out there and perform live, and us music lovers are dying for some live performances. Speaking of that, I know there's a Bon Jovi 2020 live concerts that airing on Access TV this weekend. Where did you film that one at?
in Nashville, but I wasn't living here yet. So I was still in LA, and we all flew to Nashville in August, and we recorded, I think it was 7 or 8 songs for an iHeart event. And then the next day we shot the new album in its entirety, plus some bonus material of classics. So that was a lot of fun.
And what was part of the you know, process of deciding to move to Nashville? Because I know you're a Toronto kid, but you know, Cali for many years, and I know you'll always be back and forth, but what was your final decision making in deciding to jump into Music City there?
You know what? And and I got to be honest, Nashville's not getting a proper audition with things being closed and COVID, and actually it's not that closed here. If you drive to Honky Tonk Alley, you will see people lined up without masks waiting to get into a saloon. And it's kind of scary because my son is high risk, so we're very isolated. Um, in that case, moving here was one of those, needed a change of scenery. Uh, we were looking to move again in LA because we actually moved to Vegas for 2 years, and so let's rent for a while we find a place that we really want to settle into. And then when we were renting, all of a sudden the owner of the rental is selling, and now we have to wait a minute. But we haven't sold the house in Vegas yet, so it's a long story. But we ended up here. Basically, when you have children, one of the criteria a place to live is a really good school district, and that's super expensive in LA. Boring. You're like, let's check out Nashville, which is way less expensive. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah, well, you're right in the middle of the country. You're an easy, plane ride to anywhere pretty much there. And I know we saw after the Northridge earthquake, a lot of rockers from LA moved to Vegas, and now we've seen more and more move to Nashville. So I know you guys are starting to, balance out that little country, tag that Nashville has. It's really becoming more of a rock and roll town, and so much of the new country is pretty rock oriented, so
It really is. I remember when we recorded the Beds to 2020 here in 2019, and it was open. There was no COVID. It was before that. So we go out and we check it out, and there's so many amazing musicians here, but because they want to cater to the tourists, you could walk into a saloon at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and see the most amazing guitar player you've ever seen in your life. But at night, you walk in every saloon and everybody's playing Sweet Child of Mine. And you're like, come on. I mean, I love the song, of course, but why is everybody playing it? And this guy's playing it wrong. It's kind of like that.
yeah, I know there's a lot of live venues there in Nashville, and hopefully they're doing the right thing and easing back, man. We don't want any new wave like the Europeans got right now. We really want to cancel this thing out and get everybody vaccinated, and
Yeah,
the
that's
return to
really,
real life shows,
yeah, exactly.
any of
I mean,
that.
I'm excited for that to happen. I'm not in a rush if it ain't the time or properly.
Yeah, well, no one was prepared for this, so
No, not at all.
it wasn't easy coming in, and it's not going to be easy going out. So to think
Well,
that,
you know what's funny? You said something about us dying to get out, and I just want to say that I think equally, mates and partners and wives and husbands and girlfriends and boyfriends, they're like, I'm not used to you being home so much. I just want to say it can get a little edgy for everyone.
yeah, it is either some real bonding or some real, kind of wow, when are you leaving kind of feeling.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But now that you've got this amazing single, "I Love You" on her lips out,
Thank you
I'm
for
looking at
calling
the
it amazing.
lineup.
Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you for
yeah, man,
calling it
you got Daniel Spree on bass, Gary
amazing. Oh,
Novak on drums, but look at
yeah.
these gang vocals, man. You got a monster drummer like Matt Starr singing on there,
Yeah.
Scott Ferlazzo, Joe Lester, and our buddy Mark Tureen from the Bullet Boys, man. How did you get this little gang vocal thing going here?
Well, you know, it's you don't know until you ask. My dad always said that. So Matt Starr at the time was playing a few drill shows on the drums, and we were also using him for some fretted Americana jams for those videos where I was demoing guitars. Steve Ferlazzo and I were bros for a while. Joe Lester is another bro for a while. Mark had, I guess we met somewhere at we did a fundraiser together for AMS. Wait, what? It's not ringing a bell right now, but we did. There was a whiskey event, and we started talking. And like, would you come in and do some background vocals? Because I love the idea. Like I mentioned, how we recorded it. It wasn't a lot of overdubs, especially on one. There isn't a lot of overdubs. Just of course, I play a guitar with the drums and Dan on bass, and then I'd get home and double the guitar if I needed it. But like No Woman of Mine is just one guitar. I wanted to keep the essence of this just three guys on the floor jamming. So I didn't want it to be, you know, four of my background vocals and four of Dan's background vocals, because that kind of took away from the element of the live energy and the urgency of just garage rock, right? So I thought, well, you know, why don't I just ask four buddies to come in and get on a mic and do some backgrounds? And that's what ended up on volume 2. There were some vocals on volume 1. There are some vocals on volume 2, and obviously the standalone single that's of I Love You on Her Lips, where I got the boys in there. And it was funny because everybody sings differently because they're all lead singers. Well, not Joe and not Steve, but you know, Mark's a lead singer. Mac can lead sing. He has and always does. So the cool thing about this was you want him to sound like a gang. So hey, oh, Matt's scooping. Can we all scoop? Let's all scoop into the note. Instead of pegging the note, scoop the note. So all day I was like, okay, hey guys, how about we scoop the note, right? Which means for people that don't know, if you peg a note, it's and if you scoop a note, it's that's a scoop. So Joe Lester started calling us the more Scoopials. Which, of course, you're gonna have nicknames. You got four guys, four rockers in a room on a microphone singing backgrounds for the drills. It's pretty awesome.
How about Scooby Doo?
Yeah, right. Hey, the Scooby Doos. I wonder if Hanna-Barbera would come after us.
That's incredible. Now, what's next for the Drills? I know you've got these amazing covers, and you're blasting out the Zeppelin and Van Halen songs and all the Superstition and all that great stuff. Are those spur of the moment? But we're trying to see what the next project is down the horizon for the Drills.
Well, you know, we do have one in the can that we got a couple of surprises coming up, and that's because we're doing covers we're doing covers of bands featuring a member of that band. I don't know if I want to disclose that yet, because everybody gets a little like, I mean, the ISO jams, I kind of like it. I kind of wish the technology was available for 4 people or 3 people to actually jam without latency. Because right now the latency is the problem. So when I put up, you know, and I love me, Dan, and Tishy doing Black Dog. And it's funny how people go, man, I knew you could play guitar, but I didn't know you could sing like that. And I'm like, echo is a wondrous thing. But the funny thing about that is people were like, how'd you do that? That's amazing. You guys can play together? And I'm like, no. Lockdown jams, ISO jams, all that isolation stuff, it has to be done separately. And then everybody does their bit and everybody submits their tracks and their videos. And then I'll throw the WAV files in Pro Tools and mix it. And then everybody sends me the videos and I throw it in iMovie and make the image thing. So it would be amazing if we could all play together. But you know, there's been opportunities too. Like we did the fundraiser that we did, Jailbreak, with I did that with Doug Pinnick singing, Billy Sheehan on bass, Ray Luzier on drums. And when they asked me who I wanted to play second guitar, I thought of Doug Aldrich, because we played that song live at a NAMM event with this lineup with a different drummer. This lineup did it, and we didn't have Billy Sheehan either. Doug Pinnick played bass and sang. So the 5 of us on Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, it just came out. Our friend Ira Black mixed it and cut the video together, but it came out so good. And it's funny how we all had the same vision. And for 5 guys that have the same vision, it's very very rare. You know, we all wanted it to sound classic and the proper ode to a band like Thin Lizzy. And it came out great. I loved it. So there are a couple of things in the can. That's already out. The Unchained thing with Kenny Aronoff, that's one of my faves. And I'm such a Eddie Van Halen geek that I couldn't just, here's the song. I had to talk about the path of finding the right guitar and using the right amp and the right this and the right that. I had to really break it down, and the technique. And something as stupid as I wore the guitar low and the chug didn't sound right, so I raised the guitar so it was more where Eddie has it, and the chug sounded fine. So shit like that, I geek out over that, and probably other people think I'm nuts too. But I get, you know, it doesn't look like the right guitar because it's not a Frankenstrat, and it doesn't, what you just plugged into that and what you use the cabinet simulator, that doesn't even, but then you listen to it and you go, holy shit. Like, I have friends calling me going, dude, that video's ridiculous. And those are the friends that I trust. So if somebody calls up and go, man, that's not even right, he's using a Les Paul and Ed never, and I'm like, well, here's a picture of Ed using a Les Paul. Like, here's 100 pictures of Ed using a Les Paul. So Ed was magical. Ed was completely magical. My favorite Ed is with a Les Paul. There's an Eruption, 1976 or 1977 on YouTube. It's just audio. And not only is there no whammy in the Eruption, he's not even tapping yet. So, but a lot of people know that he didn't start tapping until months before they recorded the record. So, hello, right?
Yeah, no, those covers are absolutely magical. Yeah, no, the Jailbreak is phenomenal, and a real blessing, you know, to the late great Phil, and of course Scott and Brian and all the Lizzy boys, man. That's pretty damn amazing. So keep up and follow the Drills on YouTube and online, man. They're incredible stuff coming.
Thanks, man. Yeah, my YouTube channel is PhilX1111.